Welcome back. Have you ever wanted to take action as a leader? Well, you're going to hear an amazing journey from Tirzah Adrian of BarterPay. Stay tuned for her incredible journey. Welcome. I'm Milena Radakovic, and this is WEDO Pay It Forward. Welcome back to WEDO Pay It Forward. I am so excited for our next guest, Tirzah Adrian from BarterPay. She's got an exciting story for you, so let's go with it now. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here and to learn about the great story of your company.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate it.
Well, let's start from the beginning. I think the audience needs to hear you had this great idea and then you merged with another company and you took action to make it happen. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, long story short, basically I was working as a paramedic. My husband is also a paramedic, and the combination of both of us working shift work didn't work for our family. And so I started thinking into what kind of business do I want to start? Because I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I always had side businesses, grew up in a family business. So that's kind of been who I was. And had this idea to start a swapping website just to make it easier for people that do want to trade and barter, because there's a lot of people that do. And ultimately it came from my own need of being on mat leave and wanting to get my hair cut but not wanting to pay for it. And so I approached my hairdresser, and it was an awkward conversation because we're polite Canadians, you know.
Of course.
And so she agreed to trade, and I found that most people are willing to trade, but it's that awkward conversation initially. So I started a company. The first thing I did was I found a guy to build me a website, found a cheap guy because I was trying to save money. He ran off with my money and it was a horrible experience. But ultimately, it brought me to realizing I didn't need a website. I needed an app. I needed to do it right the first time. And so then I went to another company that was reputable. So Freshly Pressed in High River got me to 2 years later launching my app, actually getting the product that I wanted and needed out of it. And then 2 months later, one of my reels was shared by a friend, and the founder of BarterPay saw it and sent me a message and asked if I wanted to collaborate. So literally within 2 months of it launching, I was approached by Canada's largest bartering company.
Wow. So you took an idea and you ran with it. Now, did you take time off or you did it while you were working?
So I started when I was on mat leave, and then I went back casually, and then I ultimately did stop working as a paramedic and gave up my license, primarily because I don't believe in a backup plan.
Oh, good.
And
Wow.
I kind of removed that safety net. So thankfully for my husband, he kept us going through that period of time. So.
And I love that. You saw a niche, and in a sense, it's kind of going back to the, I want to say 1700s, right? Or actually even before that, when people were bartering and exchanging things. And so bringing that to the 20th century, because you're right, there's a lot of small businesses who are starting up, for instance, or looking to expand their target market. And they're like, well, this is a great opportunity that I need these business services, so let's swap.
Yes.
Love that idea. Now, why don't you take us, so we've got a variety of different audience, from startup students to entrepreneurs who are looking to grow the business. You started your business within 2 months. It sounds like it was a great success, and somebody was coming in and wanted to take it to the next level. So talk us through, what was that experience with doing an alliance with that company, and what were the benefits and what were the risks that you went through?
Well, the risk initially was like, I don't know this guy from Hole in the Wall. And he sent me a message on Instagram, and I'm like, well, what if he's not a decent human being, etc. So I took about 2 months to make the decision, dug into his company. I spoke with everyone on his team, all of his other barter coaches, anyone that had worked with him in the past, got time to know him and his wife. And I couldn't find one thing negative about them and their business and their company, the way it was working, the things that they're doing. Like, it was where I wanted to be in 10 to 20 years. And he's been doing this for like 27 years. So he's worked out all the kinks. So I spent a lot of time being very, hesitant at first. And then obviously, ultimately having to decide, do I want to give up what is fully mine and smaller to be a part of someone else's dream? But I'm going to get ultimately to where I want to be faster.
Right.
Because I skipped decades ahead because of all of the groundwork that he had already done, and his system worked better because he put so much, into it that I hadn't had a chance to do yet.
Right.
So it was a very hard decision. And from the moment I made it, I haven't looked back once. Like, I haven't regretted it once. I'm so thankful I did it. They are an incredible company. And I always tell my potential business members that are thinking of joining BarterPay, I did all the digging into this company to try to make sure they were legit. Honestly, I can tell you that they are, because I had a lot more to give up than you do by trying it out to be a member, right? So
yeah, well, good for you, because you took a lot of the risks and a lot of the cost by creating the app, and he had a back-end system of processes and procedures, I'm assuming the accounting, and then it was just like the perfect merge. And then so you were able to probably scale up a lot quicker now.
Yes.
And then is there like a back-end marketing and things like that to support it?
So basically the way it works is my role is a barter coach, and I have two jobs. I find businesses that have some level of spare capacity, so unsold time and space, products that are going to expire, and I help them sell their unsold time and space and their products. So I promote them within BarterPay. I grow their business in BarterPay while they continue to focus on the cash world.
Okay.
And the second part of my job, so we have barter credits, kind of backing up a little bit.
Okay.
Most people, when they think of trading, they think of a one-to-one trade. And those can get very challenging because if, maybe I don't want what you have, or maybe the value is way off. So we created barter credits, and one barter credit is equivalent to $1 Canadian. So ultimately businesses earn barter credits, and then they can spend barter credits. So I help them earn them and I help them spend them so that they're actually getting what they want from the system. So they're not looking at a list of 5 things and I don't want any of that. It doesn't really work for me. Well, then I'm going to go and try to find that business. And honestly, Enta Solutions is a great example. We had a videographer that was needed for a huge event in Calgary, and I approached Caitlin with Enta, and she joined BarterPay so they could do the videography for this event. So fulfilling that need of a member through
that's great. So this is great for the audience because we have probably a lot of entrepreneurs at different stages. So this is a great opportunity for, as you said, to help them with additional capacity of needing more clients, or like you said, things that are probably have a quick turnover. I need to get it and sell it right now. That's fantastic. So tell me a little bit of what's next for you.
Basically just going bigger. The company is based out of Ontario, so they have a huge presence in Ontario, and it's growing quickly in Alberta, but I want to blow it up in Alberta, and I am blowing it up in Alberta. So that's ultimately the goal. And the more variety of members that we have on BarterPay, the more desirable it is for the next person coming in. So that's kind of just the next goal.
So is your franchise solely for Alberta?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And then are you looking to go into other provinces as well?
So we are already across Canada, but myself personally, I own a franchise in Alberta. Okay. And by next year, we should be launching into the US as well.
Oh, that's exciting. It's a bigger market there for sure. I know when I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs, they have a tendency to not to be so risk takers. And I always say the US market is huge. When you think about the population in California alone is all of Canada. So especially for small businesses, and especially for females. It was interesting. I was at an event, I just learned 40% of small businesses in Canada are woman owned.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if we look at that alone versus all the different small businesses that you can tap here in Canada, let alone in the US, there's lots of great opportunities. That's really exciting. Yeah. So is there a learning, so for someone who's looking to go into purchase a franchise, because this is something new that we've never talked about, what are some tips that you could offer to the audience that they should look for?
Definitely get a lawyer, just because I think the document is a 90-page document, the franchise agreement. It's very long and hard to understand, and I didn't even attempt to try to understand it. I just immediately got a lawyer just to make sure that everything was in my best interest as well. The company, like I said, they're amazing. So I think there was one thing I was like, I don't know if I love that, and they were able to work with it. So it just depends on the company. I think that some bigger franchises would be a little more hard-nosed about being flexible. This is what it is, take it or leave it. But yeah, just do your homework, I guess. And it's a beautiful opportunity, honestly, in my experience, just because the foundation has been laid and there's such a team at head office already that is there to support you. There's so much groundwork I didn't have to do. So.
Oh, that's great. Because I know I've heard before when you buy a franchise, sometimes it's almost like a dictatorship. There's no like, it's like black or white, there's no gray. So it's nice to hear that for this type of franchise, they're more open for that.
Yeah.
Now, what about for your own personal growth? Is there something that you've learned from this experience that you can give the audience?
Well, I think the biggest thing, like I had said before, is just taking action. And what blew me away when I first started, I would tell people about my idea, my swapping app, and they were so excited. And I came across probably 5 or 10 people that said, oh, I had the same idea. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you had the same idea? Where is it? Like, why didn't you do anything with it? And it blew my mind that so many people weren't taking action.
Yep.
And I've seen that across the board. And so I think most entrepreneurs, they already have taken the first step. And there's a lot of people that just aren't entrepreneurs because they don't take that first step. But just start, like literally just start.
You got to have that mindset and the will to succeed and execute. And you're right. I think that is one of the keys for entrepreneurs. When people say, oh, there are small business owners and there's entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs are always thinking of something new, something innovative, and they're willing to take the risk. Whereas there are a lot of small business owners that I feel that either inherited or purchased a business and they're just status quo. So that's in my belief. I believe that's one of the differences between an entrepreneur and small business. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I greatly appreciate it. Good question for you, quick question. Who is someone, as a woman entrepreneur, that you look up to?
Sarah with Spanx. I can't remember her last name.
Blakely.
But yes, Sarah Blakely. Oh my goodness, I'm going to meet that woman one day. She is like, what I aspire to be.
Sarah, 100%. If you're ever hearing, I have actually tried to cold call you on Instagram because I wanted you as a keynote speaker for WEDO Canada. I agree with you 100%. I think she's an incredible entrepreneur. She took the risk and I follow her a lot as well. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, audience. Can you tell the audience of where they can reach you?
Yeah, so the best place to reach me would be my email at tirzah@barterpay.ca.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned for our next guest, Sue Derlago from Canaccord Genuity. If you're inspired and want to join a WEDO community, then go on WEDOCanada.com and also nominate and sponsor the next inspirational woman.